actually gonna, let me just say, copy this as dev stream. Duplicate as dev stream 16.9. Keep this one wide. Yeah, that's much better. Hopefully the audio is fine. Hopefully everyone's doing all right. We're live on Facebook and a bunch of stuff today. Need to eventually get my laptop set up, and I need something for just handling chat, like all the different like chat windows. I'm debating setting up another monitor portrait and maybe like getting my monitor stand going. I think I need to get screws for it. It used to be mounted to a stand, but that was a long time ago. I'm not sure I still have those, but I think if I could get another monitor just right here in portrait mode, put like 2 or 3 chats side by side on the top, and then like my Steam, like OBS on the bottom, so I can have like both development, Godot. We can switch between them. That'd be very beneficial because right now it's using up a lot of my space. Facebook's pop-out for comments is terrible. Anyway, so let me go into Steam. The 16.9 one. Does it even work? Be right back. Starting. That's the same thing, so this one could be deleted. Dev stream 16.9. Yeah, I like that much better. It's better. Then I can just kind of switch between them. Okay. Be a little bit bigger for chat. Hey, Mungalo. Hey, Ghost Magic. Hey, Sarah. We were testing out a bug that I found with the new animations. They're going to use an animatable body to see if that's the solution. Hmm. All right, this is good. We'll leave this alone. Hmm. Yeah, it's really weird. Managers now. Right, object is not set here. There is a station. Yeah, and this can be null. It's a nullable thing. Capture shouldn't be played default. Yeah, that should loop. So I just need to figure it out. Yeah, okay, fine. Go plane that can be seen. We're crashing. Try that. Oh, why is the player starting like? Like moving over, but like I'm in gravity, but not being aligned. What's happening? Oh, right. We are playing. Elevator cycle. Yeah, I don't think I changed anything in the multiplayer player. It's weird. Okay, fine there. Yeah, not actually staying aligned to gravity anymore. Oh wait, is the bottom of the... Did I move the gravity volume up? Oh, I must have. Aha. Hmm. did I put it? Okay, so that is stable. Okay, so let's instead, I don't know that works. Let's take the elevator floor 1, and instead of this, so the platform, instead of this being a static body, it'll be an animatable body, which will run sync to physics, but this will have to be driven. Just see if the elevator works now. I'm fixing some. So chat, just to give you guys an update. I just fixed getting missions working online, which is great. So like missions are fully working. I can now do deliveries online. You can now make money online. Your missions actually show up in multiplayer. There's a lot of stuff coming to multiplayer. But I'm running into like a jolt issue. The only way I can get real stable elevator movement is if the see, if it's an animated body and we're actually moving it with an animation. But that's kind of convoluted because we need to know. No, I'm just following through this actually in general, so let me actually check and see if we enable. Yeah, should be affecting the player. You can't use physics for the elevators. Both static bodies and animatable bodies, since I switched to Jolt, are just not working. Right? It's weird. I don't like. It's one thing that I noticed. You know, before I just had a static body in there, and I'm just moving it. You know what I mean? And it's just absolutely fine. But since Jolt, in this very simple example, it doesn't work anymore. But if I turn off Jolt, it seems to work fine. But when this is a static body, Nothing. And if I make an animatable body, but then run animations, the animation syncs with physics and actually works. But then, like, how do I create a dynamic animation system that's going to link between all the floors to, you know what I mean? Like this whole thing is working fine, right? And I guess I could integrate forces or something and override it, but it's really weird, right? Like it's and that's why I made the this proto, right? Like this proto, right? If I use an animatable body, the physics system is perfect, and this is good because I'm trying to solve this, right? Here's my here's the ship storage system, right? It's supposed to bring the ship up and bring the ship down, right? So it's permanently, this is meant for a staging area, right? So we go up, you know, boom, you know, we come down and we despawn the ship. So we want to get this implemented for all the NPCs and players and tested. And I mean, I could use remote transform. There's a whole bunch of things we could do, Ghost. But for some reason, like even when I use these static bodies, none of this actually works that stably. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to have the animation. I'm going to get rid of all the collisions. We're going to run this like we normally would, but there's going to be a standard down and up animatable body, just like I've just set up here. There'll be one of these pushing up and down the ship and blocking everything off with a collider. So this I know is 100% stable, and I can just down and up, no big deal. But we'll still mask it with the entire more complicated animations. It's just there's going to be a simple animation that only starts right here and just goes up and in reverse, right? One big square. Just bring the ship up, bring the ship down, and everything else becomes a, you know, like just kind of placeholder. But it's very, very, very weird, right? Because the goal with the way I want to do my guardrail system, you know, is we kind of do this, right? Like, so when the animation's playing, right, this goes down, right? So it's like, you know, the guard system comes up, the whole animation cycle happens. When the cycle is complete, the guards go back down. While the guards are up, there's just going to be a whole massive area that's blocked off to the player, right? So they can't actually like access the, you know, it's unaccessible to them, right? Yeah, like what? It should be straightforward, you know what I mean? So you're saying the animated body is a child of a static body. Well, that seems a little bit even more convoluted. But you know, we'll down for anything, right? So we know animatable body, animated, using physics callback mode, stable with jump. Okay, so cool. Like, you know, that's one way. So great. That's awesome. But so yeah, like use an animatable body as a child of a static body, but then, you know, we're not really animating anything here. I mean, there's an animation player for the doors. That's just so weird, right? Because even the doors have static bodies. Like, this whole process has never failed me before. Because even these doors themselves, right, like, usually have, I've had, you know, I've always let them animate, and I've had put static bodies as children, and they've worked to block me from going through while the door is closed. This is like some weird going back into the Twilight Zone and still running in the issues, right? Because we're moving just the whole elevator floor, right? And not necessarily, you know, the collision shape, the animatable body. An animated 3D physics body, it can't be moved by external forces or contracts, but it can be manually moved, which is animation mixers, with callback mode set to process physics, and a remote transform. When an animated body is moved, it's in linear angular velocity, so technically a remote transform might work. But I still don't like, why would a remote transform or it, you know what I mean? Like, if it's just gonna be a child anyway, like locking in the animatable body seems kind of weird. But I guess if it's gonna update on physics, then who are we to complain? But I do like these little problems, you know what I mean? Why do you put the camera somewhere cool? Because I'm at a stage now, Ghost, where we can kind of do a lot more beta testing. I just want to stabilize a lot of these little things so I can put them in. Oh my god, that is so dumb. Why does a remote, like, I just have a remote transform pointing to itself, and we turn interpolation on, which we haven't yet. Why? That is, like, that's so dumb, because we're driving the remote transform with the parent, and we're just pulling the static body with it, which in this case is the animatable body. That is so weird. So let's interpolate. So there is physics interpolation on this, inheriting all of these things. There's no way. Let's go. That is so dumb. Let's play everyone jumps on the elevator game. And they're a bit glitchy, that's fine. I swear, like, this is so dumb. Let's move this forever character out of the way. So we just call our elevator. It opens, we get in. Let's get the other player in as well. Oh my god, oh, so dumb. Okay, so we did kind of lose. We lost it for a second. So let's see. Yeah, I think eventually for the players, we're going to set up contact monitoring so we can make it a little bit more efficient, but we are using cooldown. We can sleep. And if we don't sleep them while in the elevator, I don't want to permanently make the characters like not sleep because that'll be kind of bad. But I'm actually curious because what we can do is we can make a region. Because that's what's happening. They're aggressively sleeping, right? It's part of the implementation. And what all these errors are. Like a lip or something there? There's a lip there. Okay, yeah, I guess that'll do. It does fix the problem. Maybe I should have fixed the process with it. What is that, a sink? Player randomly gets turned to ship when exiting sleep random distances. I don't think the ships can actually damage themselves. I don't own anything on this profile. Oh, I need a ship. Why am I saving it for profile Bob? Oh, nice. Crap. So now I have a ship with no weapons. I forget what camera motion. It's so junk. Right, the remote transform of the camera should be like working totally fine. Let's assume. Oh, these are different players. Okay, yeah. Project. Different profiles. Front, front. My profile. Just for viewers. Yeah, I think it'll be part of the player status system. Let's do something. Status. Switch this over to this one, make it easy. You don't want to be a doorman? Oh yeah, just let me know. Close. Hey, Mud Man Dragon, welcome. How was your stream? Thank you for the raid. Hey, I think you're muted, or am I tripping? No, I'm just very silent. What are you guys up to? Nerixia, is the voice working? Not muted? We're good? Awesome. Excellent. So for those that are new joining me, my name is Revere, and I'm working on a space game called Unforgiven Space, where you are, you know, a space pirate / space trucker, and you know, you can pretty much, you know, go about your day buying and selling or trading cargo, pirating cargo, doing missions. Oh no, no worries. Right, so whether you're doing like, you know, delivery missions for like pickup or drop off, or, you know, bringing stuff from point A to point B, which not a very long route here, you know, just for upgrading your ship and all that stuff. It's a full multiplayer game. Right, so all the components are physicalized. So, yeah. 3 years now. It originally was a Unity game, and then I ported it over from Unity to Godot. This is what I call Unforgiven Systems. This is the systems project where I can kind of work on things in just gray box form. So, you know, what's that? Oh, okay. I just got raided. I gotta go grab food. I mean, jump in here. Okay, so all the components of the ship can be upgraded. Ignore some of the glitches. Right, but you can go down on you can, you know, go to planet side and, you know, buy and sell things, look around, take your friends along for the adventure. And I gotta go grab our ice cream real quick here. And ignore with the introduction of physics interpolation, there's a lot of very interesting little bugs that I had to kind of like work out. But you know, you can go down to a planet, you know what I mean? You can go back. Over here, there's an asteroid field with 4 million asteroids in it as a test. I don't know why they're actually not spawning in. There's a whole like quad tree system that I was working on, but for some reason I don't see any of the asteroids. They don't seem to be here. Something must have broke with them. Yeah, no asteroids here at all. Either that or they're very small. Oh well. I love the traveling through space. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so this is kind of the... this is what I'm working on. Right, and we're trying to get like ship storage, trying to get everything more so stable for what we play. It was cool. I'm imagining that also from the middle of flying through space. Yeah. There's a whole genre of music called psychedelic space rock. That's what I'm listening to. It's a bit heavier into the track. Let me just bring it back. This is what it's more like. I'm trying this one. I'm gonna go grab some food real quick, and I'll be right back. Let me actually show you what the project actually looks like. Oh, thanks for the follow, by the way. Gemma, let me So this is what the final version of the game looks like. Outside the test project, but this is a lot of stuff. Like this is kind of like the art in the state that it was in when I moved it over to from Unity to Godot. So this is a very Godot's pretty fast, but the project's still pretty big. So let's just move this here. So like this is what like the habitation modules look like. You can decorate these. You can put in all your ship components and everything. This is what the ship actually looks like. I like it. I find it pretty good, right? So this is, let me just play. I'll kind of just give you like a little, like kind of more of a small glimpse, I guess, of what things will be like. But a lot of things in this particular project are pretty broken. But this is how the character is supposed to look, right? It's just a string music. But I'm going to try to get that same style of music for the game. And check this out. So this is kind of what you can do if the snap points work. So let me kind of buy a bunch of stuff here. So I just bought all this equipment. So like the bar. So you get your own little habitation module. Yeah, no, snap points are not working. So I can't really. I need to fix these. I need to set all the types. But these would normally snap to the location. And you have your bar light, and that normally used to snap up here, but it's all been refactored. Of course, if you throw things in 0G, they just go on forever. Just gravity volumes. I think these work. Hang on. Do I have either? Is there any of these working? Nope. Oh, look, those are messed up too. So many things are messed up. Oh, the couch works? Anyway, that's the idea, right? Wow, love this. I spent 10 months making a game. I can imagine how much work this is. most of the most of the stuff is netcode, right? Getting the netcode working, getting like, you know, all these little systems, you know, working is very interesting. Things being messed up while being in normal state. Yep, that's how it is, right? All the cargo. Right, so you just take your cargo, you throw it in the ship. Right, you can swap out all the components. Right, so you have so many like electrical components, so many like, right, you have all these kind of like gameplay limitations. Yeah, I did all the artwork. You kind of get put in. So you have like a hollow projector. And if I like target an enemy over here, so this is some like prototypey stuff, right? Like there's a medical module. The medical module itself has like, you know, 100 and something different rooms, all with interiors, just checking the, using multi-mission instancing. You can target enemies, there's missiles. You know, so it's all the kind of the very basics. Right? I let my missiles go. He's not really moving, right? So I just shields work, and they become like a little salvage thing that we can actually salvage. It's a custom 64-bit version of Godot, so there's no you know, spatial limits of where we can go. And it's all online. It's all multiplayer, right? It's everyone together. This is kind of here. Let me. I'm gonna go eat my food here in a second. But this is what one of the smaller truck stops look like, right? You can bring in your ship and you can take off all the components, swap them out. Right, the arm comes down, kind of grabs the ship. Right, you can spawn in all your different things and, you know, kind of outfit it to your heart's content. C#, yeah. Right, and then you have your, right, like your ship. There's different versions too. There's kind of like your, there's a one-seater, very small kind of, you know, fighter. And then you have all your social stuff, you know, like your bars and your, right? But every place has these drop-off terminals, right? So there's all these missions you can do, like repair missions and social things. It's meant to be like, you know, like Cowboy Bebop, Firefly kind of thing, right? Yeah, there's nothing wrong. Like in my case, I had. Let's take a look. Look at how many C# scripts we're talking about. Let's start. I think I can shift click. Right, like there was a lot of stuff here to port. A lot of stuff. You know. I don't know. There's probably 600 C# scripts. Tip interfaces, all the NPC logic. You know, you can scroll through this for, you know, a while. But there's a lot of stuff here, you know, to port. Really good. It took 6 months. Oh, it took 6 months to port the project over to Godot. And Unidot was probably a big contributor to that. Is that there's like an importer you can use. It is a blizzard. You don't have any blizzards? No Dairy Queen? Okay, so all of this stuff had to be changed to get it all to work. Good chill coding channel. Thanks. No, it's just me working on this game, man. It's just, you know, non-stop working on the game until the game is done. You know, it's a combination of this, a lot of Blender. All this is being deleted. We're going to redo the whole, like, the way the station works. Oh, Dead Slap Solar Brother, you rated him yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, it's been great. The multiplayer infrastructure is like a whole other thing. It's kind of wild. Let me show you a system I've been developing. There's a bunch of systems. I have a whole economy system. This is my zone system. Kind of like utilizing Jolt and some of the client-side physics interpolation. This is probably going to fail just because I'm showing it off. But let's see if I get it first try. You guys might find this interesting. So Godot has a limitation that you can't really parent things in you can't reparent things with everything. Like there's ways around it, but overall, you know, that's not normally a thing you could do. So I've developed this kind of independent physics system. See how like the characters have a ghost? Let me switch it back to full. You'll see there's that little ghost that's trailing behind the player a little bit. Oh, you can't eat dairy anymore? Oh, that sucks. We're gonna go do something cool. So we have a ship here, and the ship is flying around, and we want to jump in. So we're gonna jump into the ship, and what do you guys think is gonna happen? So let's just kind of check this out. Look at this. Right, I'm completely inside a actual custom physics zone. So let's go take a look at this from the other player. Right, so it's completely stable. And let me we're gonna go jump in ourselves. Watch this. Now, there's gonna be more work that needs to be done for this to be more like production ready. Well, we're gonna get it on the next round. There's a chance that you can get put into the physics zone, and the physics zone's walls would bang into you and send you into oblivion. But look at this, right? So here we both are, two players, inside our own physics zone, no lag, everything is stable, right? All the physics that's happening here is completely stable. So let me observe this from the other player, right? So, you know, here we have all these players, and they're in their own ship, and we can see them, and it's all working, it's all stable. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take back the illusion here. I'm a senior software engineer. I work in finance, so I build like tax software and work with stupid amounts of data. And, let's check this out. We're gonna go game mode. We're gonna take our camera. We're gonna take our input. Oh no! I closed it. Crap. I don't know why I made escape be a thing for closing it. But I broke it. Thanks for the follow, EM Audio. We're never gonna get it again. I need to make sure like the just in, awesome. Welcome in. So let's try to get this guy again. Oh, we got no. I need to like. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna get oh, cool. The spider just angled from the ceiling and put in my face. How big is the spider? Okay, so check this out. So, with this guy being in there, I'm gonna try to go back to the server, go back to Godot, take over the. So here is where the kind of here's where the prototypiness is happening. Right, so this is the physics zone system, right? Because we don't really know. In the case of the player, we go back to input here. We go to the guy, right? So because we don't really know if we're going to be simulating, I'm probably going to be adding, colliders to the armature. So like you see, the player here doesn't actually have any, he has a test mesh, but he's inside his own little static area. He's not really moving around anywhere, right? He's in his own world that he can only escape if he goes out through these green colliders, which are like the exits and entries of the ship, right? So everything that's happening from a first-person competitive sense is stable because it's really just static, right? This is where the real character is, and what you see in the real world is more of its actor, right? The actor version of the player. And if we let's go back, turn on the input. All right, so. Oh well. Anyway, that'll be implemented at some point. Random story, the moment I started to really like cats was when I was 5. I was terrified of spiders, and I saw a cat totally kill and eat a spider, and at that point, yeah, the cat. At that point, cats are awesome. While I'm eating, we'll let's look at the economy. I like transactional economies, which means that every single thing is actually simulated. And so what I've made is an actual real dynamic economy where every single one of these 1,000 NPCs are all kind of doing their own thing. And in this case, they're just kind of randomly going from place to place, and they're doing it in very much a slow mode. So by default, they're all just space truckers because they don't really have anything to do. They all have their own like little inventory. And what we should see is that we have these gas, volumes. And, right as they start kind of moving around and despawning, eventually you'll start seeing these gas mining versions, and they're actually heading towards these to grab, whatever they need. And then they'll bring these back to the nearest refinery. So they're in 3D space so that there's actual time between all these things that are actually happening. So like they'll go grab some hydrogen gas and bring the hydrogen gas over to the refinery. And it's all like contract based, right? So once all these coming in, they all have their own little 10 units of hydrogen gas. We finally got some going over here, right? So this refinery is actually slowly converting hydrogen gas to hydrogen fuel. And similarly over here, right? There's gas mining ships. They're getting ore. They're bringing ore over to this ore refinery. which is also doing water. So we're doing ice, to water, and raw ore to refined ore. And all of these guys aren't really doing anything. They have a dependency, so they're kind of just moving. But because we have a pirate station, these little red guys, these are pirate ships that have been killed. They're salvage ships that are going to pick up the pirate ships. Thanks for the follow, So in this little ecosystem, we have salvage ships, we have security ships, we have pirate ships. And if the pirate ships attack a cargo ship and they win the roll, they take that cargo and they bring it back to the pirate station. But if the security gets them first, the security will kind of, kill them, and then a salvage claim gets created, and then it can be brought. So this it happens in 3D, but this simulation of 1,000 NPCs, actually can be scaled up and scaled down to represent the number of players that are on an actual server. Right? So that it's always stable. There's always only over 1,000 NPCs, and all of their transactions, we just increase their influence. So when you're in a star system, there will there'll always be, you'll see that there's all these salvage contracts. So there must be like parts in the station, right? And you see like all of this is slowly being brought down to eventually it'll run out, and they'll need to find another resource. Can you turn the music down like 30%? Yeah, no worries. Right, so all of this is kind of running. Hopefully that's a bit better. Yeah, it's psychedelic space rock. We can watch this do its thing while I'm eating. If you guys are interested in joining the Discord, you're more than welcome to. I'm trying to get more testers. There's a lot of stuff in QA I need to kind of like blow through. Like this is everything in QA right now that I've done like just the last 2 days. This is like 2 days of QA stuff that I've built up. Right, so like this is everything in the active sprint. I have like project management for absolutely everything. Yeah, but it's not low poly. Everything I do, I don't play like the game. A lot of the stuff is in low poly, but the right, like it's all like I've always can't wait to use you guys with some bigger ships, but we're not gonna talk about bigger ships. Let's go. Right, because I'm currently in the process of making this cyclable, storable, medium size. I'm sure it's hard to balance. It's so fun, right? Like real good economies are very, they're very, very, very interesting to do. Like super interesting. But this is Right, so this is like what the ship actually looks like here in Blender, right? And like all of the components, this is probably one of the first games. Well, it's my first game, obviously, but where there's actual like a fuel scoop. Like, what does a fuel scoop look like? What's a fuel? There's a fuel scoop. The mechanics of the fuel scoop determined like when you're scooping. So when you're scooping, just like Elite Dangerous, right? When you're scooping stars and like gas giants, your scoop determines like the efficiency of different types of gases. Kind of like how it's like ionizing certain gases. You have an intake, and the intake is the same thing. It controls like flow, like how fast you're, bringing in certain gases, and affects kind of like the quality. If you just want to guzzle a bunch of stuff real quick and make some really low quality fuel, then you can. And then the power plant is more like a nuclear kind of, fission based, right? Your power plant is your main output, for all of your all of your systems, and it's also kind of, bit of magic, bit of space hand wavium, but it's taking everything that you're kind of scooping and then converting it into hydrogen. So it's filling up the tanks that go to the engines. So all the thrusters themselves, the thrusters are ion based, so they're more like electrical, so they take power. But your main engines, which are gimbal, are well, there's a lot of thought that's gone into this, right? Like a lot of thought. Like everything about this, if you think about it, is designed, right? Like this is just 2x2 meters. Every one of these modules are 1x1 meters, and we can dynamically change. Like all I have to do to change the ship is just design a new shell, right? Just design a new shell, and we're good. So it's a lot easier for me to scale this way, because in reality, like if you just hide away some of right, you're just left with a 3x3 4 meter wide all the way back system. So how easy or hard is it to just make a new exterior, right? Or make different brands and make different, right? It's designed to be scalar. And it's designed with gameplay in mind. So like when you first get the ship, as an example, right, you don't have any of this, any of these modules. So like you get the ship and you have a rack. You don't have a toilet. You just have a astute locker, an airlock. You have 2 electrical bays and 2 component bays. That's it. So what does that mean for a player? Well, for a player, it means you can't log off. You don't have a bed, right? It means you don't have, a toilet. And what's a toilet used for? Nothing. It's actually, it gives you a way back to the character creator. When you go up to the mirror, you can put on, clothes, change out your clothes, change out your suit, do some slight modifications. It's a convenience. It's just a role play convenience, right? Otherwise, when you go to the station, you can do all this. And that's what you're doing. You're slowly adding kind of role play fun things to the ship to give yourself more utility. But you're giving yourself more utility at the cost of cargo, because this is just a medium ship, right? You ultimately, it's going to be up to you how you kind of tweak it, right? So, the food module here just gives you a storage, that pops up when you interact with it. So you just get extra storage to kind of put things in, for personable items like food or anything that's inventory backpack stuff, anything you put in a backpack. And then this little guy, and it's all designed around a 2-player minimum, because you always want to be able to bring a friend, right? That's the whole, that's why there's minimum 2 seats, right? We can't, I personally can't make 150 starships. I can make 7, right? We have a mining ship, we have our medium ship, large ship, small ships. We have literally 7 ships that'll be in the game. But within that, like I said, I can create different skins and different brands and different looks, and I can make different exteriors that have lens shapes on them, that can kind of be customizable to a certain extent. And but yeah, that's the idea, right? If you want to put a larger power plant because you want to increase your thrust output, well, now you're limited by cooling, right? So you need way better coolers, right? So everything all kind of yings and yangs, because even the ship is designed the outside of the ship. Let me bring the ship up here. That's what. Right, so even the ship here, right, the wings of this thing, even in gray box form, they're part of the cooling system. Right, so all those cooling connectors, they're actually going to the wings. The wings radiate heat. So that way, if you can take one missile, to the face in the ship, it's going to get pulled into the wing. It'll hit the wing once before it takes the engine out. But then you're going to lose a ton of your tooling, right? So then you're in trouble. You know what I mean? You're really, really in trouble once you've kind of lost a wing, but you're not dead. And you know, there's a whole management aspect of that how to silent run and how to, like, you know, get yourself going. And yeah, but yeah, so that's you know, it's Unforgiven space. All of, you know, it's all hopefully, you know, going to be ultimately a pretty fun game. And right now everything is playable, you know, online. I have a dedicated server running. I do builds on Patreon right. So ever since I switched over to Godot, the Patreon hasn't been like super strong. But I do builds when I can, right? And we just test them. We just push out builds, you know, everything that we've added. I've added tons of stuff in the last couple of months, but I haven't done a build because we've been refactoring a bunch of stuff. Like asteroid system, you know, multi-mission instances, like there's so much in this thing. So if you guys are interested in even following the project on Patreon, you're more than welcome to. I built an entire Delta patcher for the game, so I can literally just run the game, run my own little patcher, log in, connect to Patreon, allow, close the window, and it just Delta patches. So it's pretty simple to kind of get going. The only thing is I got to finish the it's still like re-downloading the build. I don't know why. I need to. This needs optimization. But I got tired of like having to manually set all the emails. How do I prioritize bugs versus features? I get volunteers, so I have like Uniform, a few people on the Discord, and I get them to go in and treat the game as if it's a game. And I know it's not a game, and they'll just go through and they'll play through it. They'll find anything as I'm working on features, right? Because I always have builds up, and they'll just add it to the active sprint or the backlog, right? And then I'll just go fix it, and I'll just bang it out. So everything's kind of a bug and a feature right now, because it's kind of like, you know, fix raycasts so we can swap out weapons. It still collides with, like, there's tons, right, that get put in. So what I've been really trying to push is in-game bug reporting. So once you're logged in, I've only just gotten this kind of working, but on the Discord, let me, my plan. So I have on the Discord, you guys join, thank you, a tracker. So the tracker, you know, connects with ClickUp. And what I want to do is I'm going to use ClickUp's API. And when you report a bug in the game, the bug goes to the universe server, right? And then from the universe server on the back end, it'll just get added to the ClickUp. So then in the ClickUp issues are stuff that's actually dynamically created by the system, right? Like we need to be able to in-game, like no one's going to leave the game to report a bug. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen, right? Like people are lazy. Like we just assume people are lazy, right? Like it's not. So what I've done, I already have this working. So if we go back to the main build here, it's been a while, right? So I'll log in and see if it works. So ideally how this would work, you just go online, you log in, and you know, I'm logged in, I'm a Patreon member. In the character, yeah, okay, so I've totally been messing with it. Because I've redone all the, yeah. So, you know, the idea is once you're logged in, you know, we pull down all the, yeah, I want a game state snapshot like a new store, so exactly. So I do a ton of back-end stuff. I'm an Azure, you know, person. I wrote a whole bunch of deployment stuff here. That if we, so if I go and do a build, it's not fully automated yet. So let me just show you. So if I do an export and I do the Linux dedicated server, and we export the project, and I've just changed it. So if I go to my builds folder, and we just update the server, so we're just gonna go ahead and redo a new export. Right, so this is going to go ahead and do the export. Now I'm going to have a cron job watch this on the other side, but I'll just run you through this process, right? So let's manage files, builds. So here in Unforgiven space server, so this is the latest server build, right? I have all of my Docker deployment automations here, so I can do my deploy script, which will happen automatically, but right now it's not. What this will do is this will automatically pull down a shiv of Ubuntu server. It will set up the Docker file. It'll grab all of the dependencies of Godot. So just this is literally a VM or a Docker environment only running Godot with the minimum viable product. It takes the server, puts it in user local VM Godot headless. It exports the image, sets up the Docker IO as for you for the shard, and then redeploys it. And it's that fast, or that fast, or that fast. Every time I do that, I'm completely redoing the server and restarting the server. And if we go in here to my right, so let's do so here in my for this container, this is all set up where I can actually go in and look at the logs, and then we can actually see, even with all the color of Godot, everything that's currently happening, and we can monitor, of course, the our actual like network statistics, as well as like memory utilization for this shard. And the goal is ultimately to have my Nakama instance, and the goal is eventually to be implementing all of our stuff in the Nakama, and then Nakama will be doing kind of like account management and all of that stuff. I wrote a lot of the original stuff in PHP, but I think a lot of the stuff we can just leverage Nakama to take care of, because it's actually pretty awesome for for open source. Right now, no. I mean, once it crashes, I have the log and I can go back and take a look at it, but I need to go further with it. Because I now have a launcher, my idea is that the launcher is logged in. You know what I mean? Like the launcher is already logged in. The launcher can do bug reports. The launcher can use process to attach to the running process, so that when it does crash, I have all the data that I need that I can just upload, from the launcher. Like the launcher could be like, a crash was detected. Here's the log. It can upload it as well as with a like a bug report, right? So then it could prompt like, oh, we had a crash, right? And my patcher should work in Linux, but I need to set it up for, like, I think it's written in Godot, obviously. Like if we open source it, I need it to work first, and I need to get the Delta patching aspect of it working. We do. So here is the launcher. Right, and I'll show you. So here's the launcher, and in the launcher we have our standard good old-fashioned SHA-1. Technically, it needs to become like SHA-256. There's always a balance, right? There's a whole battle, right, of processing versus. I mean, if you're just stamping a file, let's see. So login UI register, because I have the whole like builds. Alright, so our patcher, extract the PCK, extract the old, extract the new, do the comparison. Right, set up our patch. Right, fetch and apply the patched PCK file. Yeah, it's pretty dumb right now, but it'll get better. But I wasn't looking forward to building it. The issue is like I have to, you know, like you kind of have to build it. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, it's takes too long to get results back. Because right now, like I would have to go into Google Drive and like I was setting up, like managing all of the stuff manually, and you know, and then that has a cost too, right? Anything that stops you from working on the game, you know, then you, right? Like so, even if I don't have Delta patching, at least I can. Like what I've done, let me go into the web services here. So in the universe server, we have our builds, right? All builds, there's only one, get put in here with a random GUID, and it's a GUID generated from the time that it was created, right? It's only Windows right now is the issue, right? So this build gets put here online in the builds folder, and we're technically outside of the web directory. And what the API does is the API, you know, gets a token, logs in, and then there's an endpoint for builds that pulls. Let me go into my Insomnia. Okay, so I'll go over it real quick. So I log in with password, super secure password, because we're testing. Right, and then you know once I log in, I can access the builds endpoint, and this shows me right like what my builds are. So I this is the latest build. This is when it was created, and then from that build ID, you know whatever that GUID is, and the idea is for like a lot of this stuff to be kind of hidden. So if we directly access that build, what? It didn't expire. I kind of copied my token. Yeah, so let's access that build. Right, so what we get now, this is the build, here's the time, and these are all the files, and this is the SHA-1 of each of the files. So it can, like, once it grabs the latest build, you know, and pulls the build information, right, it then just checks to see, right, it checks each of the files that should be in the builds folder against their SHA, and if their SHA doesn't match, then we got to look for a delta patch between them. And the way the patching is going to work is there's going to be a patches folder, and for every build, there'll be like you know like a delta between them. They'll just be like, you know, as an example, it'll be like you know like data.pck this to this dot, you know, patch. So, you know, it'll always be in this kind of format of from to, right? Like from build to build, that it knows like, you know, what am I looking for? Like, you know, whatever the delta is, right, for that file. So I only have to really do deltas. I can just do deltas between patches, or I could keep the last like 4 or 5. And when I upload the builds through the actual system itself, I can automatically, you know, generate all these deltas by just running Godot headless on the API, like on the service, right? That's running in the background. So that's like this is the very, very, very primitive, you know what I mean, like patching infrastructure, but it's better than nothing, right? It's still secured by a JWT token. It's still like it's kind of good enough for people to kind of register their accounts, and then for all the bug reports, right? I can submit a bug report and it'll submit it. Well, apparently not, because I'm working on stuff. See, breaking everything, right? This is very interesting. Of course, you have to go. Might tune in later if you're still around. Thanks for explaining. The explanation looks amazing. Yeah, it's a work in progress. Right? It's like making a multiplayer game, even in Godot, is still a big undertaking. There's a lot of people don't really take into consideration. I'll be back. I'm going to use the washroom. Yeah, spent many months on that. More to go by. Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. It's fun though. It's really rewarding when you start seeing people actually play the game. Let me get my other chats open. It's been a while since I've actually checked out my YouTube chat. Okay. Because we had to do a whole new we had to do a whole like UI system. But anyway, we were efficient. What are we doing? What's open here? Builds. And if you guys want to actually play the game, I'm looking for more testers, but you know, it's kind of you know, $5 a month gives you access to the builds if you want to support the project. But if you also just want to test the project, then I could definitely use a few more testers. But it's pretty boring, you know what I mean? Like testing this is pretty a lot of work. So missions are now showing up. We finished the missions UI. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the camera stuff. Physics interpolation must be camera. Yeah, when teleporting, maybe this has to be off. Okay, so that's now stable. So if the IK, if we can just get the if we can get the player IK happening for the camera updates. Let's just put camera on. And put player IK at, so let's do this before the camera. And then player array cast will be at 25. Let's just see if that does it. Yeah, we need to figure out why the IK. It's got to be the look IK of this point not being interpolated correctly. Yeah, because I can tell like this looks, this is kind of jittery at this point. So that's. Because I wasn't making this thing a child. Maybe. Yeah, maybe the indicator just needs to be in the base. Let's move the rake acid to the base. So our rotation is at least relative. And then this point. So we need to indicate. Right, this delta. Yeah, let me just graph this real quick. Sometimes it's faster to just grok something. We have a point. Collision point. Why am I not calculating the collision distance there? Oh, because it's right, it's updated in physics process. Yeah, repeat that too. Provided as it's being used for IK, and IK is chubby. Just to get some thought process. May not be responsive, and it could be overshooting. Hey, Tico Blade, I'm doing good. Right, so our indicator wide the point once, just a single alert. So with 60 FPS, critically dampened spring with a more natural motion. So where's more available? And then do a move towards set local space along the sea. Oh, we can stabilize the collision point. Sure. Have the whole class. I love it. Man, AI is just getting crazy good. What am I doing right now? Okay, so I have a bug. It's a bug that happened. Let me close out all the things. Alright, so we have a player. The player has a gun. The player camera is decoupled from the player. If I hit, for example, F5 or F4, I can go to a free cam, or I can go from a free cam back to the character. Just to prove that, like, there's just a point between, there's a target, right, that we're looking at, and that target is, you know, between the eyes, right? It's a head mount, or it's a bone attachment to the head bone. And the issue that I'm having with interpolation, because I am myself in my rigid body, and we do have interpolation enabled because it's used to when we're looking at other players and other players are looking at us, it really helps. Like, it really makes some of the physics-based movement feel really good. But what I have, because I have a raycast, that's a child of the camera. So it's like there's a chicken and egg kind of race condition where we have this raycast. This raycast is hitting the ground, right? And we're getting the collision point. This collision point is actually kind of a node, you know, that we can adjust, right? We're moving this collision point, or if there is no collision point, just at whatever the distance is, every physics frame, right? Because it's a physics, it's the sum of the raycast, right? This point, though, when we're like rotating or moving, as you can see, because it's like because this point is only happening on a physics process, is very laggy. And the issue that I'm having, at least when you don't have any interpolation and everything is running at like frame rate, it's not noticeable. But for now, you can see the hand jitter. So all of this jitter that you're seeing when I look down is the IK system, you know, looking towards this point when this point is stable. So all look IK uses this point visually, right? So we need to make sure this point that's chopping around here, we still want to get the collision point, you know, but we need to smooth the collision point on process, because we use that same point also in multiplayer. So I'll show you what I mean. So that's that's kind of what we're doing. So I just need to like make sure I am definitely using physics, or what I need to use physics for, but then have a secondary feature. So I can actually show you guys actually what's new for this thing now. So these are all the features that are now new since I last started playing around with all this stuff, because I put so much stuff in today. It's actually crazy. So now all the players are in. See that point? So when you're dealing with other players, it's fine. That's actually good enough, you know, for other players. So that point is being used for IK and look IK. So I'm just synchronizing that vector over the network, and it is pretty much just a collision point, right? Like when I'm looking at the ground, whatever it's colliding with, right? It's what we're looking at. But because we're using physics interpolation now, I'm actually glad. Oh, dude, Tigo, check this out. Watch. So I'm Revere. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna spawn in my ship this time, it's fully synced. So check this out. Let's go to the player. So we'll go watch. This gets really crazy, actually. So I'm gonna jump in. So this is my ship. You know it's my ship because I can like touch it and move it around. I'm gonna go in and grab authority. So you can see I'm in. I'm controlling all the gimbals. But this is where it gets great. Watch. So we think it's Revere's ship, but is it Revere's ship? What happens if I get out and we switch to Ceres? And then Ceres gets in Revere's ship, and Ceres goes up to the seat and then interacts with the seat. And then, you know, goes for a fly and then takes off. Ignore the camera stuff is the same issue. Right? Everything is now working with the you know, random like authority switching. And the camera glitch, like we're gonna fix that. That's the physics interpolation stuff working against us. Right? All of this is now working. It gets better. Watch, check this out. So the cargo volumes. Watch this. So I am, you know, Ceres. I'm gonna order 2 gas. There's 2 gas. Okay. And now let's not as the server, as the other player. Look, there's the 2 gas. I'm gonna order let's see, in the same cargo volume, 2 metal, 1 processed food. And I'm gonna keep going. Let's do 2 more processed food, 2 gas. Okay, all synced. But watch this. The authority is dynamic. Right? I can literally snap this on any client. Right? I can pass authority around. We can actually both literally just go from player to player, you know, moving the box around, pushing the box around, right? Like I can throw this box at this other player, you know, and they can just go grab it. And then and what will they do with the box? Well, they can go put it on their ship because all the cargo volumes are now working. So players can actually, in multiplayer, you know, pretty much play the whole game now. They can actually spawn in a ship, have authority over their own stuff. They can do their own cargo missions, right? They can, you know, close everything up here and jump in and take the ship and just wait for it. So I'm now like, you know, in the ship. I'm going to take off. I'm going to come back here and wait. And I'm going to join in now with a late joiner. Well, I'd like to, but I need to make sure I really do Alt-Tab. So let's join in with Tigo. Right, and let's join in with Tigo, purple, join, and ignore that initial blip. If I look around, I'm just gonna, because I'm kind of messed up here. Okay, so there's Tigo, and if I look over there, you'll see that the ship that I'm in, and my authority, and literally everything about it is fully synchronized still. So this player, this 4th player, just joined right in, and all of the authority, like, you know, like this person being in their ship and all their cargo and everything that's happening is fully synced. And now this player can jump out of the ship, and other than this bug here, we can go back to Tigo, right, and head over to the ship, right, which the other player has just gotten out of, and it's not Tigo's ship, but, you know, Tigo's a late joiner. Tigo can still go, take over authority, everything works. He can go over to all the cargo is replicated, everything is as it was, other than, like I said, the gravity volume thing is annoying. I need to fix it. but look, everything is replicated. Right? Like the game is finally at a threshold where all I have to do is expand it. All I have to do is add everything. Just, you know, like everything is coming together. Right? So now I can leave, come in, keep the dedicated server running, you know, all the, like I said, other than this glitchiness, right? This authority thing that I'm working on. This with the right, and because it's Tigo's ship, you know, you can pull off all the components. All you did was fly the ship, and you gain authority over it. Right, and you can take off all the components, you can swap them on, you literally, you know. Anyway. Pretty cool, huh? And if I kill the server, boop. It seems complicated systems you've designed. As long as it works. That'll be cool, man. See the game come to life. It's so weird that I'm still in. These guys just, oh, cool. It's such gracefully disconnected. Cool. That's how it's actually supposed to happen. IBO, good job, man. Oh, thanks. Oh, dude, it's getting there, man. It's getting there. It's so exciting. I've actually this whole week I've been able to go in and just do right, like in QA right now. Like I've did 16 bug fixes in the just this weekend. Added a camera for rear view, like all of this. I just need someone to go through and verify. And the active sprint rate of what I need to work on right now is just like 28 things. So it's I don't know, things are moving again, which I like, right? So yeah, there's a lot to do, but there's not a lot of roadblocks, right? There's some. There's definitely like the whole area system, and right now the camera is being a pain. But I have a solution for the camera system, for the area system, and it's what I was before I got rated. It's what I was writing, which is a status system, and the player status system is going to keep track of the zones that the player's in. It's temporary, and it'll be a temporary system. It's been a long time since I've been following you, and I must say that you did a fantastic job. Congratulations. Well, it's a congratulations when you actually have players. When the Patreon is up to, you know what I mean? Like when the game is funding itself, and I can just kind of hire my artists that I want to get full time, I will be very happy. But so this was the issue. I'll explain this issue, right? It's really simple, but kind of not simple. We have it's just Godot, like being a pain. So we have a station, right? So here's a station. The station has a gravity volume, right, which is applying gravity. The ship has a gravity volume, and technically, in a very nuanced scenario, so does a hangar. So think of like you're in a ship. The ship has a gravity volume, right? The ship is in a hangar, which has a gravity volume, and then the hangar is in a station that has a gravity volume. So, and what happens to rigid bodies when rigid bodies freeze, they immediately emit a on-body exit. So if you're keeping track of what I'm doing with players, right, is players have a gravity area reference to know, like, hey, this is the gravity area that I'm in. So it knows, you know, which one I'm in. So it, you know, it can check. But the issue that happens is when you enter a ship, right, like the ship itself also has a gravity area, which is, you know, the station. What I'm doing is kind of using this parenting system where, like, if I leave the ship, or like if I leave a gravity area and I came from a ship, or, you know, then we move you into the parent gravity area. But all of this goes out the window every time like a player gets locked. Like when a player gets in a seat inside the ship, they become locked, and when they do, they get kind of ejected in the 0G. They're not really ejected. They're triggering the area exit. It's the same thing that happens when you leave the area of, you know, the gravity. It happens to the state of the player when they get added to the seat. So you had to do all these checks and balances to be like, oh well, you know, if we just left gravity but we're still a pilot, then we don't do anything. Yeah, CSP, server authority, reconciliation, inner explanation. Yeah, there's so much, dude. Have you played with NetFox IPO? I did, yeah. Right? This is, I'm not using this, I'm building my own. But yeah, it's literally, it uses no array, it's got smooth motion, supports server client, it supports rollback. It's pretty much right, timing, rollback. No array does kind of like a UDP relay. And yep. So this is kind of it's their whole system, right? State synchronization, lag compensation with CSP. If it was yeah, check rollback synchronizer nodes. But yeah, this is the I took a look at the code. I kind of went through it, like in the add-ons folder. Right, and a lot of it I like. I just, you know, wish it was a like native C#, but obviously it's not. It makes sense that it's not because playing around with the ECS and space-time DB for Unity. Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in Unity land. Well, this is a rollback solution. Right, it pretty much like, you know, keeps track of its own network tick rate, and then keeps track of the state over that tick rate. It's, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind jumping back in like for another project, but I'm definitely going to be committed to Godot. There's a lot of headaches, man. They're not insane, but they exist, right? Little things that I've had to kind of like get over. Good. That was fast. How's things going? Good. Well, yeah, like this gravity system is driving me crazy, but I learned more recently that I don't know why the spawn visibility. There's something on the spawn visibility condition that's weird on the multiplayer player. Okay, so 11:47. I'm gonna get ready and end it here. I think on YouTube, and get ready to raid someone. Good stuff. I'm working on implementing crafting stations for my RPG game. Nice. Yeah, crafting stations are cool. I mean, I love crafting stuff. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with where I am. There's a lot of stuff I've accomplished. I need to get it all together. Right? There's a few like repair missions. Like there's a repair system with the Motley tool. I want to get online very, very, very soon. I would really like to be able to kind of start the player in a very test world, where they don't have to ship. You know, like right now, I've been giving players like 2 million credits. So there's a little bit of grind. Like a little bit of kind of a small, repairman style missions to do to kind of build up some capital. You're kind of familiar with the tools, and get the initial amount that you need to kind of get a ship. Even if that means like implementing like an initial like renting system, or maybe you're just renting alone. You're getting some of the groundwork set up so so that the NPCs can get assigned to them, and then once I get the creating that AI logic, yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it on YouTube. I'm gonna go and get ready to. We're gonna find someone to throw this raid at. Thank you guys again for so many guys, man. Some of you guys have been Patreons for a long time, man. It's awesome. I'm really hoping soon, man, that I'll have an artist working on a lot of this stuff. And if I can advance at a rate that I can get some of this art finished, it's gonna be cool.